Want to level up your leadership? Welcome to The Boss Coach.
Hey boss, how's business? Patrick got me talking in metrics. Hey boss, how's business? I'm the boss coach of my own moves. Hey
Ba. Man, that gets me pumped. You know, it makes me want to leverage synergies and extrapolate value drivers and all those weird corporate buzzwords. Well, hey boss, how's business? Hey, do you work for a startup? You know, the government stats show that new business applications are up almost 36% so far this year. That's pretty good. People are going out on their own, which is exciting. The biggest growth is in what's called autonomous underwater vehicle manufacturing. That's up 23%. What exactly is that? Some kind of a robot submarine. Why? I have no idea. Well, thanks for clicking and listening. My name is Patrick McGranahan, and welcome back to The Boss Coach. If this episode was shared with you by a very thoughtful friend or coworker, and you're new, please check out the podcast trailer. That's episode 100. It gives you background on what The Boss Coach is all about, what my mission is, why I'm doing this, and of course, check out all of season 1 with lots of helpful stuff, especially the basics on being a great leader. Now, speaking of, there's a million books out there and articles about, the 12 keys to leadership, the 87 keys to leadership. One gets hot, and then your boss makes everybody read a book about it, etc. It's kind of a fad thing. They're generally not that useful. It's what I call the corporate book club. So what I do is the amalgamated method. I've talked about this before. I do lots of research. I use AI to help search where the trends are, where there are similarities, where there are commonalities. I find the truth somewhere in the middle, not fads. So you may have heard of today's topic, which is from Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner from their book, The Leadership Challenge. Now, it was built on 5 practices of exemplary leadership. Model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, engage others to act, and encourage the heart. Sounds like one of those books of the month, right? But I will say they established what they call the 10 truths. Well, that got my attention. I was very skeptical, but I really feel like it pretty much perfectly sums up the reality, not the philosophy, of leading people and driving results. Because I had experiences to validate each one of them. So I think it's the real deal, boss. Are you ready for the truth? The 10 truths?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Now, before we dive on in, understand that these are called truths because we're not going to debate whether they're accurate, right? No hot takes. For this purpose, we're going to grant the reality that these are all facts. Kouzes and Posner spent years vetting and validating these, and they kind of built a cottage industry around it. So we're going to take it as the gospel truth. And as we go through these 10, pay attention to which one speaks to you particularly. Spoiler alert, there will be a call to action at the end based on that. So get ready to level up. Okay, here we go. Truth number 1. You make a difference. You make a difference. Before you lead, you have to believe that you have a positive impact on others. You have to believe in yourself. Now, this is not just a hokey motivational poster BS thing. Really take this to heart. I have this one on my baseball, as a matter of fact. We talked about it in the play ball episode. Know that you have an impact because leadership is a responsibility. Admit to yourself that you're an influencer. Don't downplay your own efforts. My mantra is, I'm the sun, I have gravity. I am the sun, I have gravity, meaning I draw people to me and I influence them. You need to be a little bit conceited realistically to succeed as a leader because you have to understand your impact. Well, here's an example. So recently we were joking with the team, with one of my internal support team about retiring early. They got kind of serious and they said, well, if we're here because of you, if you leave, we'll leave too. I'll only work for you. Now, of course, some of that was just bluster to make me feel good, but still, it shows that you do make a difference. It shows that they want to be working for you, not just for the company. You know how they say people don't leave companies, they leave leaders? Well, the same is true for them staying. So you make a difference, and that's the truth. Truth number 2. Credibility is the foundation of leadership. Say that one again. Credibility is the foundation of leadership. You have to believe in you, sure, but others have to believe in you too. The number one cause of disengagement and attrition in the workplace is lack of trust. I say this all the time. Be impeccable with your word. Part of the definition of credibility is, quote, the quality of being accepted as true and reliable. So sometimes you just have to do what you say you're going to do. It's kind of that simple. Here's an example. I worked with a securities broker dealer and found out very quickly it was a pretty toxic place. You couldn't really believe or trust anything that they said. They lied so easily, it was almost impressive. It was probably my shortest employment stint ever. And it just goes to show you, you've got to be credible. And that's the truth. All right, truth number 3. Values drive commitment. Values drive commitment. People want to know what you stand for and believe in. This feels like the same as credibility, but that one is more what you do. And values are the why you are who you are. So you know how you really like an actor or singer and you really love their work and they're really good at what they do, but then you read and find out that they're part of some weird snake worshiping cult or something? People just need to align with your values or they won't commit. So here's an example. We have a weekly meeting with my internal support team and we give a discussion question, which is not really relevant to anything work-wise, just to get to know each other. What's your favorite pie? Do you believe in aliens? Who's your best friend? Whatever. We like to get to know each other so they know who you are. And that means you got to do the soft skill work of getting to know people. Values drive commitment. And that's the truth. All right. Truth number 4. Focusing on the future sets leaders apart. Focusing on the future sets leaders apart. The capacity to imagine and articulate exciting future possibilities is the defining competence in leaders. But let's be pragmatic. There's a trade-off here, boss. Your people are in the trenches doing the work. Sometimes I say the real work. So you're freed up to focus on the future and be strategic. Check out the popular strategy episode I did last season. It really digs into this topic in depth. But this basically is your value prop. This is what you bring to the table. As an individual contributor, it's called seeing around corners, and it helps get them promoted. It means seeing the future. It means being predictive. So here's an example. On my internal support team, we're working on this project for AI-assisted support options. So I make all the planning decisions. I do a lot of the work with the stakeholders and the partners, and then I involve the team later. That's great collaboration, but it shows that future thinking is what we do best. We are up here on top doing air support. We're plotting and planning, and then we involve them when it's possible and when it's relevant. Future thinking makes the boss, and that's the truth. All right, truth number 5. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. No leader ever got anything extraordinary done without the talent and support of others. This is why I'm skeptical when I see directors and VPs with no reports. Do you have that in your company? It's great if you don't like people leadership. It's good then that you're not leading people, but you can't do great things without collaboration. I truly believe that. You have this mentality of, well, I'll just do it myself. That means you don't know how to train or lead people. I'll say that again. If you always say, I'll just do it myself, it means you don't know how to train or lead or trust people. Be a leader who lifts others up. Here's an example. On my external support team, we built that out last year. It was a big project you may have heard me talk about before. Lots of partners, lots of stakeholders from day one. And that went super well because it was collaborative. And I knew at that point that you needed to involve as many people as possible to help make it a success. Let me juxtapose that with a sales team built out about the same time. And it was basically launched from a silo. All leaders at all levels of that place were brought in from the outside. Nobody really understood the internal processes or stakeholders or anything. So they tried to do it all by themselves from a silo. And it was not successful. We're at the point now where it is working out. But from a launch perspective, it was a failure. It shows that you can't succeed alone. And that's the truth. All right. Truth number 6. Trust rules. Trust is everything. Trust rules. Trust is everything. Trust is the social glue that holds individuals and groups together. Like I said, trust fuels credibility, but trust goes deeper. It means both reports and superiors can rely on each other, depend confidently, and have faith. That's how it's actually defined. And really, it's two-way. This is about you trusting your people, which in turn breeds credibility and accountability. How loyal are you to someone who doesn't even show you the trust that you've earned? It kind of goes back to a famous stat. 16% of marriages survive infidelity. Only 16%. Once you've broken the trust, you've broken the cycle. So here's a good business example. I have a new hire on the external support team that came in after everybody else. And boy, she immediately had some trust issues that we had to deal with. You could tell that whoever she worked for before didn't do as they said, and they constantly changed their mind, changed their word. So it took a long time to really earn that trust. And that's the important word there, is earn the trust. And finally, after wearing her down over time, showing her that we actually were impeccable with our word, she said, even during her annual review, you actually do what you say. You actually stand up for your people. And now we've seen that she's kind of softened a bit. She knows to trust us because trust is everything. And that's the truth. All right. Truth number 7. Challenge is the crucible of greatness. Challenge is the crucible of greatness. What does that mean? Well, adversity and change brings you face to face with your level of commitment, your grittiness and your values. Do you run to the fire or do you hide from the fire? It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when you have to face challenges. It's inevitable. If you're a fair weather leader, you are not a leader. I'll say that again. If you are a fair weather leader, you're not a leader. People rely on you to lead them through challenges. So here's an example. Earlier on in the current company, I was working in support of some traders, and the housing bubble happened. This was like '08. Boy, that was a crazy time. The market volatility that followed that was really unheard of. We handled some really huge, high-pressure, quick turnaround trades, and that could mean huge trade errors. It could mean clients losing money or making money. So it really required calmness, a level head, and strict attention to detail in order to keep it all on the rails. And I have to say that I feel like with the help of the team, we really were able to pull it off so well. You got to be able to show your grit because challenge makes the leader. And that's the truth. Okay, truth number 8.
8.
You either lead by example or you don't lead at all. Boy, that one hits home, doesn't it? You either lead by example or you don't lead at all. You can't ask others to do something you aren't willing to do yourself. Now, you may remember my story about a guy named Dave from the coffee shop days. He was an employee who thought he was above mopping the floor, kind of refused to do it at first. You're only as good as the task you turn down. That's where I came up with that saying. You're only as good as the task you turn down. You got to be a player coach, boss. You don't have to remember how to do everything exactly or do it every day or be great at it, but you have to be engaged with the work and show your people that you're engaged. So here's an example. Sticking with my coffee shop days. So I ran this one location at a Big Ten university, and it had the highest net margin of the company because I worked shifts to cut labor. I figured out that labor costs being one of the major expenses going against our profit and loss, it would come down if the manager was actually working shifts. So instead of sitting up in the office all day looking at books and reading or whatnot, I was working the counter. I was bussing tables. I was making coffee, doing my best to help bring the cost down. And that worked very, very well. Then, of course, after my shift, I would go do the profit loss reports, all the stuff that a manager and a leader should be doing. But you got to be able to balance it and show them that you are engaged, that you know what they're doing as well as what you're doing. Because you're not a leader if you don't lead by example. And that's the truth. Okay, truth number 9.
9.
The best leaders are the best learners. The best leaders are the best learners. You have to believe that you and others can learn to lead, and then you can become a better leader tomorrow than you are today. Every day you can get better. You're not done learning, boss, and you never will be. This podcast continues to help me learn, and you can help your peers too. Even just by simply sharing these episodes, shameless plug, it helps others to get better and level up because of what we've learned together. This is kind of like a 15-minute leadership class. It's easy, and it's free, which is the best word I think of. If you think you know it all, you're dead wrong. So here's an example. Remember back in my name brand episode, I talked about your personal branding. I thought I knew everything about branding, and whenever I found out from a research project on my own personal development that I needed to work on my brand, I kind of pushed back. But the more I learned, I realized, yes, that is a place where I needed to learn. So I took a couple classes, I read a couple books on it. Really, it's still not enough. I'm still learning about branding as everything because great leaders learn. That's the truth. Okay, final leadership truth number 10.
10.
Leadership is an affair of the heart. Leadership is an affair of the heart. Leaders are in love with their constituents, their customers, and their clients, and the mission that they're serving. Now don't be scared of that L word. If you're not an emotional person, we don't literally mean having that type of a love for people, but you still feel love and commitment. You just show it differently. You love clients through outstanding service. You love your reports and your people through true empathetic servant leadership. That's how you show it. You have to care, or literally your heart's not into it. Here's a great example. My friend Jeff runs a coffee empire. He runs PT's Coffee as well as Bird Rock Coffee on the West Coast. He has a saying, without the love, it's just coffee. Man, that's amazing. It just hits home so much. Love is just an elevated level of engagement. That's how you show it. You lead with your heart, and that's the truth. 10 times over, boss. Speaking of, man, I love this topic. These are evergreen facts, not fads, not buzzwords, not corporate BS, not clickbait, just obvious, verifiable, validated, and irrefutable truths about how we should be all leading every day, all the time, in all parts of your life, as a matter of fact. So big thank you to Kouzes and Posner for your 10 truths. So here's what you can do right now to level up your own leadership with those 10 truths. Now remember I said at the beginning, pick your favorite one, because right now in the comments, I want you to tell me which one spoke to you the most. That's it. Just in the comments, say which of the 10. Trust rules, values drive commitment, you make a difference, whatever it is, just put it in there. And for extra points, heck, tell us why it's your favorite as well, why it spoke to you. That will help you live your truth as a great boss. Well, thank you for your time as always. I'm Patrick McGranahan, the Boss Coach. Make sure to follow the Boss Coach on Spotify. Some platforms tell you to subscribe. Whatever it is, it's free, doesn't matter, just do it. And that way you get notice of new episodes. Thanks to my new subscribers, but even more to my regulars who listen to every single episode, I think a couple times over. Those of you that are sharing, I really appreciate that. like the episodes, leave comments too. What you got to do here is help me with the algorithm, right? Because I get shown to more people and in front of more ears if the algorithm likes what we're doing. And to do that, you can help me by just liking, commenting, sharing, whatever it is. It just doesn't take any of your time, but I really appreciate it. And remember to comment today with your favorite of those 10 truths. And if you're going to share the episode, again, I appreciate it, but share it with those people who are not yet in leadership as well. It's not just for leaders. And I think today's will really help them understand what leading is all about. And finally, thank you for engaging with me on TikTok and Instagram and all that. I'm getting a lot of great feedback on using Boss Cat in those promos. You probably saw last time she attacked me, which got some good laughs. I'm okay. I'm fine. She does that all the time because she's kind of a jerk. But hey, it's still entertaining, and that's what's important. So until then, I'll see you next time on The Boss Coach. Back to work, boss.
Thank you for joining us today for The Boss Coach, hosted by Patrick McGranahan. We'd also like to thank our associate producer, Hannah, and consulting contributor, Stephanie. Original music provided by Sono AI Studio. All statements and opinions by our host and guests are solely their own observations and may not reflect those of their contemporaries or employers. Please check out other episodes of The Boss Coach for more valuable opportunities to level up your leadership. Until next time, I am your announcer, Ava. Have a great day, and as always, lead with your heart.